Talk About Disconnect, episode number 54. Josh is here, Sarah is here, I am here. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not here. He is going to be a Miami Heat, not a Boston Celtics. So sad. Unless you're Josh, he is overfilled with joy. So we are going to get right into it. A lot of Giannis talk, a lot of Greek Freak talk. There is so much news going on right now in real time, so we'll try to get you up to date on all of that as of 4:30 on Tuesday, the day after Giannis was traded. Last night around midnight, Shams had the bomb. Giannis with the Miami Heat for a bunch of nobodies and draft picks. Right away, Josh, we had about 45 texts from you this morning when we all woke up. Let's just get through it, Josh. I mean, how do we feel? I know we're ecstatic.
I don't want to hear it from no one. I got a list. Of everyone who wanted this to happen. Everyone's like, I wanted Jaylen Brown for Giannis. Y'all are quitters. Y'all are quitters on Boston Nation right now. Jaylen Brown is here to stay. I don't care about any of the reports coming out about Jaylen Brown being put up for auction right now before the draft. It ain't happening because all these reports coming out yesterday and the whole week about, oh, it's a done deal. The Celtics are the favorite to get Giannis. And then what happens? The Celtics don't get Giannis anymore. So I'm making my bold prediction now. Jaylen Brown is a Celtic starting next season. I'm not going to believe it until that day I see Shams Charania post it. That is the only man who can make me doubt that Jaylen Brown will be a Celtic anymore. He is the culture of this team. He is a huge part of the culture of this team. And you want to give up on that? As a Celtics fan, shame on you. Shame on you for wanting to give this up. Sure, I'll admit, the trade, on paper, it makes sense. It makes sense. But as my favorite player in this league right now, I will never give up on my boy. And so if it means that we have to give up an upgrade of a player for me to keep my favorite player on my favorite team, then so be it. So effing be it. I don't care. This is like if, I told Sarah this, this is like if Trevor Lawrence was on the Patriots and we traded him away. Now imagine if that happened. Would you really want Sarah being on this podcast screaming about how Trevor Lawrence just got traded? Hell no. Jaylen Brown is here to stay. He is here to stay starting right now. He's not getting traded in Milwaukee. He's not getting traded anywhere. He carried your ass last year. He was your finals MVP, your conference finals MVP. He proved everyone wrong, and you want to give up on that. You want to give up on that? Go ahead. Tell me straight to my face. You want to give up on that. Say it to me. Here, let me hear it. I'm done.
Tell me how you really feel. Damn.
Yeah. There's a lot to pick through there. A lot I don't agree with. But, Sarah, I do want to get... I know we don't have you for a long time today, and I know basketball is not your sport, but I know that you are a people person.
I gotta take the sunglasses off. All right, real analytical Josh is here now. Sorry, that was the fan side of me, the unprofessional side of me.
I thought that was just Josh.
No. Well, that is me, but no, that's just my heart speaking for me. All right, but let's go.
So, Sarah, people person might be a stretch, but you're a human being with real emotions. So we can get you to weigh in on this aspect of it. If you are Jaylen Brown, who has been with the Celtics for a decade, he has done pretty much everything they've asked. In his eyes, he has sacrificed his personal stats and his personal role over and over for the team to make sure that, the team first. How do you feel now? This is not the first time. It has been made very well aware that he was involved in trade rumors for an upgrade of a player, but it's different this time. This time it's not coming off of a year where he proved pretty much everything anyone could say negative against him. He can't lead his own team. He has no left hand. He can't be a number one guy and bring you far in the playoffs, which is still kind of true. They lost in the first round, but he silenced a lot of critics this season, and it is quote-unquote his favorite season. How do you feel if you're Jaylen Brown now that you were on the goal line of being dealt elsewhere?
If I were him, I would feel a little betrayed by my city that I play in, unless fans like Josh rally behind him. From what you explained, I kind of see him as like an Edelman to the Patriots or like to the Celtics. Like he spent his whole career in Boston. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's taken pay cuts. Like he's done everything they've asked. He's kind of put his like goals on the back burner so he could stay with this team. And honestly, the fact that people were so excited to trade him and get rid of him and weren't upset about it, that's kind of like a slap in the face. So if I were him, I'd be pissed.
So now, if you're him, is there any way that the relationship between the Celtics and Jaylen Brown can be repaired to keep him on this team? Because that was a lot of what Josh said when we started and came in here. He's not going anywhere. He's not getting traded. I feel the complete opposite. I think this is, and I'll get to my thoughts in a minute. I think this is worst case scenario for the Boston Celtics. Do you think that they can mend this relationship?
I think they could. I just think it's going to take a lot from the Celtics. They're going to have to show him that they truly do want him here and that he's just not someone that they can trade around easily. Like losing him would be hard for them and they would feel sad about it. Not like they wouldn't lose sleep over it. So I think like if they're able to show him that they do genuinely care about him and care about him being a part of this team, then they need to start doing that now.
There's definitely faith when mending the relationship between the two. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying I have faith because Jaylen Brown has been in trade rumors his entire career.
That has to be hard though.
It is, and so when he's been through this already before, and now understandably, none of the trades in the past have come close as it was with this Giannis trade. So there will definitely have to be a lot coming in, especially from Brad Stevens. But the fact that he's been through this already, and that the team and the organization has kind of kept him in check throughout the entire time. They've kept him here. They kept him happy here. He even stated in the stream that if it was up to him, he'd stay here his entire career. So I definitely think there's faith that the Celtics can mend to it and repair it because they've done it before. To this extreme, no. Which is why I'm not saying it's guaranteed. And how will they do that? I don't know. We don't know yet. That's up to Brad Stevens on how he's gonna repair that, if there is anything to repair. Even it's up in the air. But I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not going to say it will happen. There's definitely faith. I'd say it's like a 50-50 right now, if you ask me, for a percentage.
Well, if you think about it, if he's been in trade rumors for most of his career in Boston and they keep him every time, but this is like the one time where they were like very serious about trying to get rid of him, I feel like it's going to get to a point where he's going to be like, you know what, fuck you. Like,
So
you don't want me, I want to leave.
yeah, Tom and I had this. We answered this question last week. Where is, with the amount of trade rumors Brown has dealt with, is he at the point where he's used to them? He's like, okay, this is just another trade rumor, another part of my career being disrespected, or is he getting fed up with it and he's eventually going to snap one day and potentially want out?
And you know what? If he does snap one day, who's going to blame him? Because
No one can.
pile everything onto him, you make him feel like he's unworthy every single season, he's going to snap. He's a human.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame Jaylen Brown for wanting out after all this. I mean,
Do I want him to leave though? No.
no, God no. I don't want him out. I don't want him out either. I mean, I can.
Anyone on the Celtics anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I can. Obviously, I've already expressed that I want him here. I want him here for life. Even though I think it'll happen? Probably not. But would I blame Brown if he went into Brad Stevens' office today or tomorrow, whenever he comes back from China, being like, clearly you don't want me here. I want out. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame him at all for doing
Honestly, I would expect him to.
So there are
it could happen.
mixed reports that, or some reports out there. Obviously, nothing's verified completely. That before he went on his tour, wherever the hell he's been the
He's in
past few
China.
weeks, he told Brad, like, I want out, like demanded a trade in that sense. I don't see a world where Jaylen Brown is a Boston Celtic at the start of the season. I really don't. And I know he's been in trade rumors pretty much since the moment he's been drafted. But this is different. This wasn't the Celtics denying the trade. It was the other team with like Kevin Durant saying, well, we need Marcus Smart in this deal as well as Jaylen Brown, and them saying, no, we're not willing to do that. They submitted they were like, here's Jaylen, 2 first-round picks. It was not them who said no to the trade, which I think is very different, because if it was up to them, Giannis would be a Boston Celtic right now and coming to Boston and not South Beach. And I think that right there is the key difference. And Sarah, you said, there was like wording that you said where, they're looking to get rid of him. And like on paper, yes, they tried to trade him for another player, but this wasn't getting rid of Jaylen Brown. If they get rid of Jaylen Brown, that's what will happen now, where it's okay, we made a big swing and miss. We didn't get Giannis. It's come out that Jaylen Brown was heavily involved in that trade package. He's upset. Now we have to get rid of him because he doesn't want to be here. We're looking to upgrade on Jaylen Brown. Now it's who else will take on Jaylen Brown because he doesn't want to be here now. And that's what scares me the most now because they're stuck in the worst possible scenario. They had the girl on the line and they were looking at a prettier girl and they tried to bag her, but the girl number 1 found out, and now girl number 2's gone to some other dude, and now you don't have girl number 1 either. So now they're stuck at the dance with nobody. And that's what the Boston Celtics are right now. Like, they are in the worst possible scenario. And I want to make it very clear that that situation with the girls has not happened to me. I can see it in your eyes, Sarah.
Okay, I feel targeted.
I can see it. Well, I can see Josh too. I can see the wheels turning in your head right there, Sarah.
Me.
No, I can see the wheels turning in your head.
Actually, no, I was thinking about AJ Brown.
That's
I
fair.
think he's going to be the only Brown in Boston within a few days.
But do you think so? Yeah, Tom, I understand what you're saying is that they kind of have to force themselves to get rid of them. Do you think they handicap themselves with this though? That it was kind of boom or bust, and where okay, you try to trade Brown for an upgraded player, but now your only option really is to trade or is to sell Jaylen Brown, trade him down. Do you think the Celtics are going to get any true, real, equal value from any other team willing to trade Jaylen Brown? Because obviously you don't want to force a trade with Brown. You would look stupid if you forced the trade and just panicked and just sold him for, a bunch of scraps. You want to get something in equal value.
Yeah.
But are you gonna get that from another team? So when you say there's no world in that Jaylen Brown comes back, I think there is a world simply because there is nothing of value to trade him for. There may be that scenario where no team comes to you with a valuable trade, and then you are now with Jaylen Brown this coming season, and it's either you're going to have to stick through it if the relationship isn't working well, or Brad Stevens is going to have to figure out something to, like we said at the start of the episode, you're going to have to mend this relationship back together. You're going to have to get his trust back. He's going to have to get your trust. So I don't think I'm not saying it as like, oh, Jaylen Brown's not getting traded as in like he's a Celtic for life. We love him so much. I literally think that it's, what are you going to trade for? Like, I know there's teams interested in him, but what are those trades going to include? They're not going to include a Giannis for all we know.
Yeah.
No, and it's not going to, that's the thing is now if there is a trade, if Jaylen Brown does get traded, which again, I believe is going to happen. I think once Sarah leaves, because I know we only have Sarah for another 10, 15 minutes, because she's a busy
gal.
She's a busy gal. She's actually going to go give Jaylen Brown what's what I'm looking for here? I had it on the tip of my tongue. A Louis bag and hope he stays in Boston. That's where she's going right now. She's giving him her prize Louis bag to see if she can make Jaylen Brown happy.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in an edible arrangement too, Sarah. I think that'll mend them.
An edible arrangement, a Louis bag, and let's throw in I don't know, throw him like 5,000 subs for a stream.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll make him happy.
That's where Sarah's going. I'm sorry, I know you wanted to keep that private, Sarah, but Sarah's going to go try to make Jaylen Brown happy. That sounds really bad. Sarah's going to go try to make sure Jaylen Brown stays a Boston Celtic. With the Lululemon bag.
Yeah. Lululemon.
No, what the hell is the word?
A
Louis bag.
A Louis bag? Okay,
There
we're mixing our bags up now.
I'm gonna go to Lululemon and just get him a cheap little plastic bag and be like, please stay with us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not up to him.
Pretty much what the Boston Celtics are doing.
I know.
No, it's just there's so much sourcing going on right now in reports that people are engaging in trades for Jaylen. And I don't think that, to come back to it, Josh, do I think they're going to get pennies on the dollar for Jaylen Brown? No. I think right now
Brad Stevens dumb.
No, one, I trust Brad Stevens.
So do I.
Like, I trust, my Lord and Savior, if that's what you believe in.
I trust him with my first child.
Yeah, like, I trust Brad Stevens. This is the worst Brad Stevens has been as a GM. Like, this is at first it was the Vucevic trade. Now this is the worst he's been, because the reports of that he didn't want to put Ugo Gonzalez and Shireman in the deal, and that's what held it up, which we'll get into as well. Because that's just hilarious to me. And again, just another dig at Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics.
You can have Jaylen Brown, but we draw the line at Ugo. We draw the line at Ugo.
3 rebounds, but Jaylen Brown, who was averaging 30 pretty much. No, you can't have Ugo. That's too much.
This glorious Finals MVP, Conference Finals MVP, All NBA player, you can have him for the low price of $9.99. But this guy, Ugo Gonzalez, rookie, no, that's gonna cost you a Louis bag, 2 even.
On God,
3.
maybe 3. Why? Hell, why not 4?
Fuck it.
But yeah, Shireman and Ugo are both worth 2 Louis bags.
2 Louis bags each.
Their contracts might be cheaper than a Louis bag, if we're going to be honest.
I think that's how we're gonna have to. That's how we gotta explain contracts with Sarah. We're like, all right, so this player makes this amount of Louis bags per year.
Well, it depends what Louis bag.
God damn it!
Because some are 1,000, some are up to like 6,000-7,000. Ha 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 ha.
She works with children. That's why she said it. But to get back, like, I don't think they get pennies on the dollar. I don't see them in a world where they get absolutely fleeced. But I don't see a world where they get an upgrade of a player.
No, they're not going to get an upgrade.
Like Giannis?
There is no upgrade because we talked about top players in the league last week. How many players in the league are an upgrade from Jaylen Brown? Like, yeah, you have the 3: Jokic, Wemby, and Shea. Then you can throw in Brunson, Ant, Giannis, not anymore. Who else would you throw? Who else would be an upgrade from Brown? Because the list isn't high.
No, if he's a top 10, 11 player, like we went over last week, Tatum's on your team already. Giannis isn't available. That leads
everyone else on that list is untouchable.
Yeah, like essentially the only guy that on that list ahead of Jaylen Brown that I've seen could be frustrated is Anthony Edwards, and I don't like. I would love that, but I don't know how the hell you swing that move. Like you get a guy in his prime, like you get a guy young in his prime, and then you trade away Jaylen Brown, who's in his prime as well, but he's closer to the back half of his prime than he is his front half. And
yeah, you'd have to give up. I mean, you could probably maybe you would toss Minnesota the same package, but with the stuff that you were maybe missing in the Giannis trade. Maybe you give up Brown 2 firsts, and maybe you throw him the 2 young guys, Shireman and Ugo, and then you got Ant. But I mean, at the moment, yeah, we're just fantasizing trades right now. I mean, would I love that? Yeah, sure. I'd love that on paper. Anthony Edwards, the Celtics, sure. Fan me would hate it because we lose Jaylen Brown. But no, if we're talking on a realistic trade, yeah, no, I'd be happy with that.
But I also think
what's
that
the chances of that?
There were a lot of teams that weren't as far in the Giannis sweepstakes as the Celtics and Heat were that are looking to upgrade. And in Jaylen Brown right now, he's the best player available. And that can give you a lot of value. And I think, I'm curious how you feel about this. With the NBA draft tonight, that is going to speed things up. Because if teams want to offer draft picks this year for Jaylen Brown, it's got to be done before they're on the clock. And teams like the Clippers, like the Kings potentially could be involved. The Hawks, they might panic and overcommit to Jaylen Brown and offer too much. And that maybe you won't get a player of the same caliber of Jaylen Brown or better, but you'll get guys who have the potential to be there, and you'll also get draft picks, and you can make that happen. Yeah. And I know I see Sarah's face with the draft picks. You're not thrilled with that idea at all.
No, I think that's stupid.
But that's kind of the only avenue you have left now.
No, it's not. Just fucking make him happy and keep him in Boston.
You can't force him to be happy to be in Boston. He could say, I'm demanding a trade, I will not play.
But I can fucking pay him the money he deserves.
He's one of the highest paid players in the league already.
As he should be.
Yeah, and he's up for an extension in July, but I'd be very wary of offering him that $70 million extension per year.
Why?
Because I don't think this is a guy that's going to want to be here, and adding that extension does make him trading him easier because teams that you trade him to will have more control over him. But then again, the contract's more expensive, and not a lot of players are going to be making as much as him. So to make the money match in the deals, you're going to have to add in a bunch of other pieces. So it does make it has its pros and cons.
He would end up being the highest paid player in the NBA, even though he's not the best player in the NBA. Like, no one wants to pay that much money for a guy not to disrespect him, who doesn't live up to that much money. If, guys like Shea and Jokic aren't making that much money.
So it's interesting, Sarah. And I agree with you. Say, like, okay, run it back. That'd be great.
I'm too loyal. You know this.
Yeah, and I knew you were saying the whole week you weren't tapped in, but you wanted to keep Jaylen. Like,
I don't think Sarah's entirely wrong. You could, if Brad Stevens and I guess Joe Mazzulla are, like, they can choose to go down one or two avenues. They can either choose to either try their hardest and commit to, mending the relationship of Jaylen Brown, or they can commit and be like, you know what, we tried, but we're done. We have to move on to something new. We have to pivot. And that is maybe trading Jaylen Brown, but then let's say they do make a move tonight for some picks and young prospects. What's the direction of the Celtics now? Because you're still technically in a win now mode with Jason Tatum, but then the rest of your roster would end up just being new guys, rookies, guys who don't get a lot of minutes. So it would put the Celtics in a very conflicting place where they have young prospects that might help them for the future. But then again, if you have a prime Jason Tatum, it feels like you might be putting that to waste if you have to pivot to developing young players.
Yeah, and that is the situation they're in right now, where the best thing they can get is assets on a player. And I think to Sarah's point where she was saying, well, Sarah, I agree with you. Like, the best thing the Boston Celtics could do from a basketball perspective is to keep the Jays together. That's the bet when it comes to building up the roster. Having 2 top 11 players, just make it plain and simple. Top 15 is an even number. Jaylen Brown, I think, is the 10th, 11th best player in the league. The best thing you could do to get you as close to winning a championship as possible and getting you back to banner 19 would be to keep the Jays together. But it's not that simple, because now we have personalities and we have egos and we have hurt feelings. And I know you're over there rolling your eyes and sighing, but hurt feelings, people, like, guys with egos get traded that's why AJ Brown got traded. He had an ego, he didn't get the ball enough. He wasn't happy. That's why he's a Patriot now.
Sarah, imagine this. Imagine, Tom was out one episode and it's just you and me one episode. And for some reason that episode goes booming. It does fantastic. It's awesome. It does amazing. And then Tom comes back. And I'm like, well, we did so good, but Tom wasn't here, so we don't need Tom. Let's get rid of Tom. You think Tom would be okay with that? That even though the team is doing the video did great, he'd be okay with just us getting rid of him? No, he'd be pissed.
I think you should take one for the team.
I'm paying for everything over here.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know I give Tom a very hard time a lot of the time. I make fun of him, but damn, I wouldn't get rid of him. God damn.
It was a joke.
She's not joking.
I don't think she is. 90% of the stuff I say is a joke, but I'm not joking right now. Tom, I'd keep you around, Tom.
Tom, there's no show without you.
Thank you, Sarah. And that's not just because I own the platform. I hope that's not why. I paid for the service.
We very well could do a show without you. You just give me the login.
I haven't. You haven't yet. All my
passwords. No, you
passwords.
actually didn't give me the login.
You do. You know all my passwords.
All right, keep talking. I'm gonna look this. I'm gonna look for this.
I think it's somewhere on our text a while. I think it's while I was in Aruba, I texted you the link.
You got stuck. You got stranded in Aruba.
Yeah, but I think it was for that first week I was planned to be there. I was like, hey, if you guys want to record without me, here's the email and login.
I don't think...
But no, feelings are a massive part in sports. Trades are made all the time about feelings.
Shit, you did. You did.
So I think it's in a dream scenario, Jaylen Brown gets over it. And I know that makes it seem like I'm on the side of the Boston Celtics, but I understand completely where Jaylen Brown is coming from. I'd be heated if I was him too. 10 years of service, I just had my best season, and you're trying to capitalize on that for a guy that he also doesn't like.
As a Jaylen Brown fan, my favorite player is him. Right behind him is Jason Tatum, but number one's Brown. He's quite frankly, I'm with him. I think he's been disrespected. Huh?
Who's the short dude?
Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard. Are you talking about the white guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, I like him.
Jaylen Brown has been disrespected for a lot of his life by this organization, quite frankly, where he's been in trade rumors.
It's a toxic relationship.
He's been in trade rumors every single season, and it just feels like, all right, once we think we're in a healthy relationship, we're back at it, we're winning. All right, here comes another one. We're ready to move on from him. We're throwing his name out there left, right, and center. And so for Jaylen Brown, I'm backing him up on this entire thing. That he had this season. I back him up when he says it's his favorite season still. I'm still on that. But
he said it himself. That's not something you have to debate.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm backing it up as in whether or not he said it. I'm backing up his reasoning for why I think he said it. But no, I am 100% okay if Jaylen Brown comes into Brad Stevens' office and be like, trade me. I'm perfectly okay with that because it's understandable. It's understandable. It's
Yeah.
completely fair for him to do that.
I agree. I mean, I already said this, but they have been not threatening, but like the trade rumors over the years. He's been here how long? 10 years?
9 years.
9 years?
Yeah.
I feel like it comes to a point, it's like everyone has their breaking point. Whether it's in a relationship, a friendship, a job, like everyone has their breaking point where they feel like they've just been used. They've been asked to do things. They've been asked to like be selfless and give things up for the sake of the company or the friendship, and they get nothing in return. It gets to that point where they're done. You're gonna just have a breaking point, and I feel like he could possibly be there.
I think that's where, Jaylen Brown is coming from. I mean, if you look, I mean, he has been giving so much to the city of Boston and the organization, but yet they're still not, treating him as, quite frankly, as Jason Tatum. They've stated that Jason Tatum is their guy. He's their 1A guy. He's their golden boy. He's the quarterback. But then
done for the team.
What's that?
The best player on the team. He's the best Boston Celtics since Larry Bird.
So, like, what does he do for the team besides be on the team?
What do you mean? Like
are you saying like off the court
top 5
stuff?
player in the world.
Are you talking about off the court stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit he's probably not. I don't know. Like, I think Jaylen Brown has more of that leadership personality. I think Tatum is more of a quiet. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna give you 30 a night. He's gonna play.
Tatum's kind of more of go with the flow.
He's more of a, if you want to like leadership style, lead by example.
No, my question is more like, is he involved with like charities aligned with the Celtics?
Yeah, they both are. I mean, they both. I think they're both like we're gonna like raising canes after the freaking champion during the championship.
They both are. Jaylen Brown is just a little bit more vocal than Jason Tatum, but
why just because Jason Tatum is a better player? Why are they backing him over someone that actually puts in the work on off the court?
They both do. They both do. They're not coming out here saying that Jason Tatum doesn't. Jason Tatum does, but it's just the fact that the issue is that they've had this duo for 8 years straight, and they've had 2 finals appearances, 1 finals, and they're at the point where they feel like they need to make a pivot, and that pivot is to move off of one of these guys, and that guy happens to be Jaylen Brown because they believe that Jason Tatum is the better player. And so they're like, all right, we need to, split up the Jays, and we're going to get rid of one. It just so happens to be Jaylen Brown. We're going to move Jaylen Brown and try and upgrade him for another player. It turns out, that trade didn't fall through, and so now we're at a stalemate where Jaylen Brown's upset, but maybe we can't get rid of him, but we kind of have to get rid of him, or maybe we don't have to get rid of him. Maybe you can fix this. It's a very odd situation, but I can't blame Jaylen Brown for wanting out because. I mean, he's been giving so much to this organization. He over the years, I'm an all-star. I gave you a championship. I was your finals MVP. I was your conference finals MVP. I carried this team while your best player, your golden boy, was out for majority of the season. I helped keep this team alive. And yet you still want to get rid of me. What more can I give you to convince you that I'm worthy being part of this team? And the Celtics say, even though after all this that you've given me, all this money that you've put on our lap, it's still not good enough.
Yeah. So arguably Jaylen Tatum, Jesus Christ. Jaylen Brown is the reason we got into the playoffs this year, is what you're saying.
I mean, he absolutely is the reason you get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's the reason you have a 50-win season in the 2nd seed, but it's also, I think, which is very clear after the season, the Celtics and Jaylen Brown and those guys and Joe Mazzulla, they're regular season hardos. They try a little bit harder than everybody in the regular season, which is great. Like, I'm not knocking it. But then they got to the playoffs, and they blew a 3-1 lead to the 76ers, a team that didn't win a single game after they beat you Game 7 on your home court. So who the hell really cares that you won 50 games that year is where I stand. I'm like, yeah, great. Like, 2 things can be true, and I'm a big 2 things can be true guy. The truth lies somewhere in the middle of everything. It's not, one side or the other. And it was a great season from Jaylen Brown. It was a surprising season that nobody expected that they would be this good without Jason Tatum. I, for one, thought they'd be a play-in team. Jesus Christ, Sarah. It's like looking into the sun right now.
Sorry, I thought I had a tick on my head. I just had a fucking...
So we looked at our nails?
No, I pulled it off my face.
I look up for 1 second. It's like the sun's right in my... No, it's fine.
Are we doing mani pedis now? ASMR?
No, I live on Martha's Vineyard and we are having a tick crisis at the moment. And so this specific tick, I'm like really freaking out right now. Like,
Is
what
it
was it?
that Lone Star tick?
It is the Lone Star tick.
It's the
Why the hell
meat
do you
tick.
know that?
It's the meat tick. Because
Oh, get
because
out of hell.
my buddy. Oh, hold up. Never mind. Okay. I thought I saw a drop from Sean's, but it's just something that happened earlier in the day. We've already seen it. No, my buddy got bit by the Lone Star tick, and now he says he can't eat red meat anymore.
Yeah, so basically, if you get bit by the Lone Star tick, you can develop an allergy or a syndrome called alpha-gal, and it's where your body it's a sugar in the saliva of the tick that goes into your bloodstream, and our bodies can't like break down that sugar, so it gives you an allergy to all red meat. So all like pork, beef, lamb, like all of that, and then all dairy and most gelatin. So and it's for the rest of your life for most people. So I got bit a month ago,
Oh, no more cheeseburgers.
but I've been okay. I got it off of me. The key is get it off as soon as possible. It was only on me for an hour and it had just bit me.
You gotta eat some red meat and let me know if you're okay.
I'm terrified too.
Do
I've
it.
been eating dairy and I'm totally fine. I literally just had ice cream right before this and I'm
Real quick, back to Jaylen Brown. So obviously, the NBA draft is tonight as we spoke. Celtics are open to trading Jaylen Brown still. To specify, Tom, I don't know if you've seen this. Teams such as the Hawks, Rockets,
Yeah, I saw this report.
Blazers, Clippers, Spurs, Nuggets, and Pelicans are all potential
And I
suitors.
think we'll get into that a little
Suitors.
bit later in the show. I can't remember what the hell I was saying before Sarah had me looking up the sun.
sorry.
No, it's okay. What the hell was I saying, Josh?
We were talking about Jaylen Brown being disrespected by the Celtics. You were going off on how
Yeah,
great
like,
this
so
season was.
Yeah, like it was a great season. Thank you. It was a great season from Brown. But at the end of the day, this is Boston. We play for championships. I don't care about regular season awards that much. And the one thing that keeps bothering me, and I'm gonna get that out real quick.
I'll remember that when you want Jason Tatum for MVP. Clip that.
Yeah, like I want him to win MVP, but let's also be real. Like this is Boston. We don't hang we don't hang 50-win seasons in the rafters.
The ultimate end of being in the NBA is to win the championship.
Yeah. So like whoop-de freaking do. And then to not only lose in the playoffs in round one, but to collapse the way you did in historic fashion and
Yeah.
then lose game 7 on your home floor, in which a first half, Jaylen Brown was not that good. And it was also a series where Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe gave
Were
you
you about to
business.
say VG?
I almost said VG, yeah. VJ Edgecombe. Exactly. Like Edgecombe, rookie, gave you guys the business.
Yeah.
Specifically Jaylen Brown, who was guarding all three of those guys for stretches in that series. It puts a very big asterisk and a very big dark cloud over it. So I don't know how much he wants to lean on that. And then again, to say it's his favorite season. But to go back to Sarah's point of, well, they're arguing like Brown and Tatum, you can call them equals. I wouldn't even put them close to equals. But that's just me, obviously. But as however you view them, you want to talk about off the court stuff and like, okay, well, he's, involved in the community and he does great charitable work. I mean, most NBA guys do all that crap. So I don't really keep that in mind when it comes to building up the best roster. Jaylen Brown is so outspoken off the court. He's picking fights with the media. He's picking fights with Stephen A. Smith. He's saying that he's picking fights with the refs all the time. Maybe that's why they decided, okay, maybe they think they're equals. They don't think they're equals. Tatum's been untouchable his entire career. Brown's been in like 15 different trade talks, but let's just, again, play the game here. If they're like, which one do we have to get rid of? Well, we have the guy who's the better player, doesn't pick fights with the media, doesn't pick fights with the refs, or we have the guy who is arguably the worst player, like I believe. He's a year older. He makes more money. Coming off his best season, his value is never going to be higher. And he's saying days after they lost that this was his favorite season. He's picking fights with the refs and blaming them for losing. He's picking fights with Stephen A. Smith and the media. Why would we not get this, I don't want to say distraction, but this guy who clearly, gives them a headache or two from time to time. If we're going to move one of them for Giannis, why not move that guy?
I don't know if I don't want to say that's the cause that's the
No, and
cause
again,
of trading
I'm
Jaylen
just
Brown?
putting
I
it
don't
out
think it
there.
is.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm just putting that out there, kind of responding to Sarah's point. I
Yeah.
don't believe that. I think this was a purely basketball. It was. They looked in the mirror and said, we cannot beat the New York Knicks. How do we get there? Let's go get another top 10 player.
Yeah, I
Let's go
think
get another top 5 player.
I think the trade was simply we want to trade for a top 5 player, but the only aspect we really have that can get us there is Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Sarah, I know you got to get going. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
I think it's stupid.
What
Stupid
is
is what
it?
stupid does.
They just keep playing with this guy's emotions. Like, it's fucked up. If you value him as a player, which obviously they don't.
I mean,
I
keep
mean,
going, sorry.
if they value him as a player, stop treating him like he's replaceable.
I mean, any player is replaceable if you think
Exactly.
if you have the right price.
But are they though? Like, is Jason Tatum replaceable?
I would trade with him for Wemby, yes.
Yeah, like it would have to be Wemby, Dylan Hart, like obviously be Wemby.
Like,
Like
obviously,
everybody has a price. Pretty
like,
much everybody has a price.
Jason Tatum has a much higher price than Jaylen Brown, but if the Spurs hit me up and be like, we'll give you Wemby for Tatum, fine.
Tom would not be okay with that.
I would cry, but like I can also say
I
like,
can
yeah, that's a
understand.
deal you make when you have a
Like-
guy who I've said could be the greatest of all time.
Like, this is me right now.
This is my issue. I am too loyal. So if someone said to me, "Oh, we're trading Drake May for Trevor Lawrence," which obviously would never happen, but like this would be my situation, I would be upset. Even though it's what?
Well, it's just like let's make the comps a little bit more real.
You both looked at your phone at the exact same
No,
time.
I looked
Because-
down because I was like, oh,
I'm looking
make
at
it
my
like
phone.
Josh Allen, where it's a clear upgrade of a player.
No.
I'm looking at my phone because Twitter's blowing up every 2 seconds because I have every single NBA draft notification on.
Of course you do.
Of course, this is my favorite sport and my favorite league. I need to stay up to date. Who's going third overall?
Sarah, you were saying
I lost my train of thought.
Drake. If they traded Drake May for a better quarterback.
No, it has to be Trevor because everyone knows I love Trevor. My thing is that I would be upset about that because Drake May is my quarterback. So like I would just have a tough time with him leaving. I wouldn't want.
All right, and
Those are their options.
those are the only two choices they have now, and I think they're going to lean towards the former.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were dragging out the Giannis trade for a while, if we're being honest.
That was, well, there were reports that they reached out during the deadline, a while ago. But that's how these things move until it is. Milwaukee was, yeah, it's like Milwaukee really didn't want to let him go. They were holding out hope for as long as possible, which you can't blame. All right, Sarah, it was great to see you. It's been a little while. We'll catch up with you again next week, as always.
Maybe we can
Stay
talk about
free.
AJ Brown.
Could be the only Brown in Boston sports by next time we talk to you.
I will cry.
If you're that territorial of a last name, yeah, it's a cry. All right, stay tick free, Sarah. All right, Sarah, great to hear from her. It's really always, and I know some people complain that she doesn't really follow a lot of the sports besides the Patriots, but I think it's always fascinating to get someone who's viewing it from 1,000 feet away. Like
She keeps us in check too.
she obviously keeps us in check, but it's also she doesn't have. I mean, she's loyal to anyone wearing a Boston uniform, which I completely get. But she doesn't have that love for Jaylen Brown that you have, or that love for Tatum that I have. And she really can view these things from 1,000 feet away, which can give her such an unbiased view, which I think is always fascinating to get.
I think it's interesting because Tom, you and I both want a career in this profession that we are kind of forced to take the very unbiased and professional view of things. I mean, that's what I'm doing with this Jaylen Brown thing. I'm really trying not to. I mean, I could speak here about.
You just always want to keep. You want obviously you have your opinion, which is they shouldn't be trading Jaylen Brown, but realistically, logically,
yeah,
that was the right move to make.
Like I could sit here and be like the Boston sports fan that I grew up being and be like, don't trade Jaylen Brown, stupid idea. I could do that, but if I'm being realistic, there's a good 50-50 chance Jaylen Brown gets traded tonight.
I put it a lot high tonight. Okay,
Really?
But in general, I put it so much higher.
I don't know. I mean, again, I'll go back to my previous statement because they might have handicapped themselves with him. I think it's still kind of 50-50. I don't think it's really as high as you may think it is. Just because, again, what are you going to get in return for him? Sure, you can get a bunch of young prospects. Yeah, but is that the direction the Celtics want to go in? It might not be. They might just be like, all right, let's suck it up let's go to work and let's try to put this behind us and let's run it back. Hopefully they don't run it back, by the way, which if we want to go into, the actual team and the rest of the offseason, this shouldn't be your only move, by the way. There has the other moves, but essentially it's either run the Jays back or blow it up. Those are your two options.
I don't think it's blow it up. I think it's you have
I blow it up
massively reconstruct the roster.
I meant blow it up as in sell Brown.
Yeah. So before we get to what the teams that are interested, I just want to reset on the Giannis trade, and I really want to. Why did this trade not happen? And whether you want to celebrate, cry about it, whatever it is, we'll get back into that, I'm sure, at some point shortly. But just the reporting that it was Brown, 2 first-round picks, and the Bucks wanted Shireman and Ugo Gonzalez, and Brad said no. How do you feel about that?
At first, I was like, okay, what the hell are we doing? But then I heard some more stuff, and I'm starting to give Brad Stevens a little bit of leeway here. I don't think he completely fumbled it. Because if you were to put the two offers side by side, the Celtics and the Heat offer, I do think the Celtics have the better offer because they have the much better player instead of just Tyler Hero and a bunch of junk. And they're also giving you 2 first-round picks. Not as much as Miami was giving you, but it's still 2 high-quality first-round picks. But then the Miami Heat owner the Milwaukee Bucks owner comes in and says, we should take the Heat offer. Like it seemed like the front office of the Bucks, sorry, I keep getting them confused, of the Bucks wanted to take the Celtics offer, but then the owner steps in and says, let's take the Heat offer. So
and now it's being reported, sorry to cut you off, it's also being reported that they're going to try to deal Tyler Hero throughout the season, which just throws a whole nother, okay, well, if you're going to, and the big thing, and we'll get back to that, Josh, keep that thought right there, but if the big thing was, one of the big things that Milwaukee was worried about was, will Jaylen Brown sign an extension? Not only does he has 3 years currently left on his contract, I'm pretty sure, or maybe 2 in a player option, whatever the hell it is. He's under contract for longer than Giannis was. They were worried of being in the same situation where they had a star player who didn't want to extend in Milwaukee.
Exactly.
And then they'd be right back where they were, trying to get the best of deal available for Jaylen Brown. But then you trade for the packages could not have been more opposite, where it was borderline all-star, young guys who are controllable and draft picks compared to a top 10 player, a top 15 player in the league, 2 draft picks. Like, they could not have been further apart, and they chose, let's hit the full rebuild button. Let's try to, they have 10 and 13 picks tonight in the draft. Let's make sure we hit on that, and let's build for the future. But then you're going to come out and say, okay, we're going to trade Tyler Hero. So it's like, what the hell was the point then? Because he's a young guy. He's a borderline all-star pretty much every single season. Like, if someone gets injured, he's usually the all-star fill-in for that. So what is the point of, if that's what you're going to do anyways, where you're going to be back looking to trade the biggest piece you got from that?
Why not
take the bigger piece to then trade him and get him? I mean, again, you're just downgrading.
No, sorry.
You're just you downgrade from Giannis to Jaylen, and then Jaylen to whatever the hell you get for Jaylen. But now you're going to do the same thing anyways, where it goes, you downgrade from Giannis to Tyler Hero and a bunch of scrubbeens and draft picks, but then you're going to deal Tyler Hero for what? Expiring contracts and draft picks. So really, you only moved Giannis for Jaime Hawkins Jr., Kalon Ware, the guy whose last name starts with a J, and draft picks. So you've really got no big name player in return if that's like the package built around Tyler Hero and picks. So it's a bunch of picks.
Do you think at all, and this is just me speculating, this wasn't like a report or anything, do you think at all they traded him to the Miami Heat to do Giannis that favor as like kind of a thank you for what he did to the organization, bringing them a championship, being an MVP caliber player? Because some organizations will do that, where if a player wants to get traded, they'll trade them to the destination that they want. And I think if Giannis had to choose Boston or Miami, just location wise, he would choose. He was picking Miami over Boston. So do you think maybe that had to do something with it, where they were just like, we're going to trade you to Miami because that's where you want to go, and we're going to do that out of respect for what you did for us for the past decade?
So, like, do I think he wanted to go to Miami over Boston more? I mean, that is something you can debate as well.
I think he wanted to. If we're just talking I think he wanted to.
Like cool location, not as much like millionaire's tax, so he'll make more of his actual NBA contract. But when it comes to basketball, I think you can't argue they have a worse roster than the Boston. So they couldn't put Tatum next to him. They can put Bam Adebayo, but that's not Jason Tatum, and it's not even close. but I think it was more like he was willing to go to both teams and sign an extension. So I don't think it was the Bucks doing him a favor. It was they were really debating back and forth. What is the best deal for us in our future? Which is what they should be doing in that
Yeah.
situation.
And so I take a little bit of weight off of Brad Stevens' shoulders, a little bit of pressure off them, just because it makes me think that, okay, maybe Brad Stevens did convince the Bucks GM to accept Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. Maybe he did actually manage to get them to say, hey, we'll do this trade. But then the owner steps in and says, nah, I don't want this guy if he's not going to, sign this extension. I really don't want him. Let's go to the Miami Heat offer.
But then
So
when it comes back that, with the reporting that, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Josh, that
they were just going to flip him.
that they were looking to get, like, if you would put Ugo or Shireman or both of them in this deal, the deal gets done. I think at that point, and we can debate this obviously, because I think you're going to go the other way with it, with the way you're talking. At that point, when it is as public knowledge as it is that you have offered up Jaylen Brown, a guy who is known to hold grudges, he takes everything uber personally, it's fuel to the fire, as he says. You have to make, like, and it's not like they were it's not like you were giving up freaking, Derek White or somebody that, like, you really overpay for that guy. You're giving up Ugo Gonzalez, who put up 3.9 points and 3.3 rebounds last season, and Baylor Shireman, who I'm a fan of. Like, I'm a big fan of Ugo and Shireman, but you're upgrading to Giannis. And I think at that point, you have to think about it in the large picture, Josh.
No, I'm completely...
Who else can they upgrade with Jaylen Brown? Because now they're going to have to downgrade with Jaylen Brown.
I'm completely with you. If the scenario was with Brad Stevens and the Bucks front office was that we'll accept your trade, but you have to throw in these guys as well, then yes, I blame Brad Stevens for not doing that. You should absolutely be throwing the 2 of those guys, or even if it was just 1. You would have to throw those 2 guys in there to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo. But if the scenario was Brad Stevens convinced them to take the original offer, that the Brown and just the 2 picks, but then the owner steps in and backs out and goes to the Miami deal, that I will take some pressure off of Brad Stevens. But yeah, if Brad Stevens said no to letting up Shireman and Ugo, then he better damn well see something magical within those 2 guys.
He had a massive backup plan, because I don't think we've been over this.
I want to see...
Brad Stevens is no dummy. Like, he was very well aware. If this deal falls through, like, it's going to come out that Jaylen Brown was involved in the trade. He's going to be heated. We're going to have to move him somewhere else. Like, I'm sure he has a backup plan, but until we see that backup plan, I am going to be uber critical of Brad, because how do you not throw in Ugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman? Like, Ugo is, what's his peak in the NBA? Defensive specialist, or 3D wing. And then Shireman, what's his peak in the NBA? Sharpshooter. Like, with a little bit of more playmaking than, your average.
I better see the 2 of them farting rainbows next season, for all we know.
Like, they better be great next year. Like, they are not, like, if this is what held up the Giannis deal, and if you play Giannis in the playoffs, and Giannis goes and puts up like a 30-point triple-double in that series, and then you have Baylor Shireman and Ugo sitting on the bench or riding pine like they were, or at least Ugo, who was riding pine until Game 7 of that 76ers series. Oh my God, that's going to look horrible for the Boston Celtics. Like, at that point, just give them what they like. What they weren't asking for, your firstborn child or your left testicle. They're asking for Ugo Gonzalez. Just give him Ugo. Like, I love him, but just give him away at that point. The 20th overall pick. Ugo Gonzalez is growing trees at this point in the NBA.
You value your left testicle more than a full-grown human being.
And, like, for my basketball team, yes. Like, it really does bother me that, like, if that was the holdup, that really bothers me, Josh. Like, really bothers. Like, I'm like, what are we doing?
You can have him. Baylor Shireman, you can have my left nut. I draw the line there.
Not like, that is sacred to me.
I draw the line to my balls.
But, like, also, and like, a very small part of me is like, you know what? Brad's not going to get fleeced. He thought that was too much. Like, good on Brad. He's never going to get fleeced in a deal. But it's also like, dude, it was Giannis. You were at the goal line. Hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. Just hand the ball off. Like, what the hell are we doing, Brad? Like, that report really got from Shams. Like, I think it was Shams. Like, it was Shams. You want Ugo and Shireman, and he'd said no. Well, you have Sam Hauser on your roster still, and if not, I'm pretty sure Duncan Robinson's a free agent this year, and he can do pretty much exactly what Baylor Shireman does. And Ugo Gonzalez, like, yeah, defensively, he could be a great weapon, but you didn't even use him in the playoffs, so what the hell is the point of keeping him around? Like, that really like, I think I'm more upset about it than you are. Like, that really bothered me.
No, I'm upset about it. I'm upset about your reaction. It's just making me laugh and it's making me feel better.
Because I really had talked and we went over this last week. I had really talked myself into Giannis. You can go back and watch from the second the
And
playoffs ended. I
Giannis
had really
and,
flipped my tune.
and Giannis was the right move. To trade Jaylen Brown for an upgrade player is the right move. If you are trying to change your play style, and if the same thing with the Jays isn't working anymore, then yes, you go out and you make a big move like this. And if something that small is holding you back, in the past, you have a track record of trading guys that you are comfortable with, that seem more valuable than Ugo and Baylor Sharman. You traded Marcus Smart. You traded Robert Williams. You almost traded Jaylen Brown. You've put him on the market multiple times. But to hold back on Ugo and Baylor Shireman, if that's the case, then I don't know what to think of Brad right now, because you're holding back on on a rookie and a sophomore. Like you'll hold back on those two, but you're not going to hold back on Smart, Rob Will, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown. You're not going to hold back on any of those guys. That to me is I'm questioning that now.
Yeah, like for the first time,
You
I am questioning the Brad and like the scouts in the front office on, how much they value their own players. Like I've always
Yeah.
thought they've had a really good grasp of where their players stand in the NBA like hierarchy. Like this is the first time I've questioned, because if you really think Ugo like this highly of Ugo, why was he not playing as much in the playoffs? That's immediately where my mind
True.
was. Like you have proof,
Oh,
you have statistical proof in front of your face, tangible proof that this wasn't a guy you trusted in the playoffs.
do you think it just has to do with the age then? Do you think he doesn't want to give up on these type of young guys, a rookie and a sophomore? Do you think it's that? Because
I don't know.
that seems to be the only option of why he
Like
wouldn't
maybe it was more they
trade
didn't
them. Is that they're too
maybe it was
young?
more they viewed it as, sorry, I know we're talking over each other, it's horrible. Maybe they viewed it more as they didn't want to decimate their roster like the Heat did. But you give up 3 players
But then
for one.
again, is
Go,
that
okay, be like, okay, give me, and they're willing to toss in Bobby Portis in there. Like I'm not a huge Bobby Portis guy, but okay, you get a second player back. It's a 3-for-2 deal.
But is that even like gut wrenching your team? Because if you think about
No.
it, your team then if the trade goes through, your starting lineup is then assuming Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and probably Kata, and then who do you have coming off the bench? You have Garza.
Garza,
I mean,
if
your
they
bench
get
would
if they get
actually.
if they get
I,
Bobby
I, would-
Portis or whatnot,
I would admit your bench would actually probably be pretty bad.
like you wouldn't be as deep as you would like, but you still have
But-
Sam Hauser under contract.
Yeah,
You still
you would-
have. There's another guy, Jordan Walsh is still under contract. Like you have these guys still, and obviously, like free agency is like, you're gonna have to sign free agents to fill out this roster regardless.
Yeah.
Like go find some guys for a vet minimum.
And then with how Brad Stevens has been hitting on the draft, this number 27 pick might be someone cool.
That would have been dealt in the deal.
Oh, true. Sorry, yeah. I don't know. Maybe you find someone in the second round then. They have 2 seconds.
I don't know. I mean, the NBA draft, besides the top 3, is such a crapshoot. But I'm glad we're
Whoa,
talking
whoa,
draft.
whoa, 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 whoa! Besides the top 3, you kidding me? Shut up. No.
Typically, because the top 3 of the draft is a crapshoot.
This is a stacked draft class.
yes,
Like 8 of the top 10 picks are all point guards. That's how stacked it is. That 8 of the top 10 picks projected are point guards.
Okay,
That's how
but
good it is.
typically, and like this is a deep draft class, but you're big. You never know what a draft pick's gonna be, guy Josh. So you can't
Well,
say,
yes.
well. So like,
But like, I need to divide my line. I'll still say players are good. Like rookies and prospects are great, just based on how well they did in college. But I'm not going to come out here and be like, man, Cam Boozer, man, rookie of the year right there. Celtics should trade for him now. Like that, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to bank on this guy. But like if I'm just comparing these rookies to other draft classes, this is a stacked draft class with how they performed in college. It's stacked.
yeah, it is stacked, and it's a deeper, lottery as well. And maybe the Celtics end up in that lottery tonight because there's a lot of reporting that the Clippers are actively in there, offering a deal around
How would you
the
react
5th
to that?
overall pick. So
How would you react if they made a trade to go into lottery?
So I understand, like, you know what? The best thing you can probably get is a guy you have to obviously make the contracts match. So they would have to take on like a Darius Garland level contract of some sort just to make the money match, because that's what you need to do in the NBA. You get the 5th overall pick. So let's just say hypothetically, and I don't know if the Clippers would do this. I think they would. You give up Darius Garland, the 5th overall pick, and other crap for Jaylen Brown. But that's what the package is built around. What do the Celtics do? And then you have the 5th overall pick. You have to hope you hit on that draft pick. I don't know who you want. I think Caleb Wilson will be the guy you want. He won't be there, sadly. There's not a big, I'm in love with the top of the draft. So maybe you go with like a Keegan Murray with like a Darius Acuff Jr. and hope to get a point guard in the future. And then you see what you have in there and you move off of Derek White. And hopefully you get a big man there as well to complement Derek White. And then you move Darius Garland to the deadline for hopefully, an upgrade of that sort. But I think like a deal like that with the Clippers built around the 5th overall pick, it's not you have this guy and now you're done making moves. You're going to have to make a move or two after that as well, where with Giannis it was, you get Giannis, that piece from that deal is locked in place for your roster. Now we have to look at our other pieces and see how we can upgrade on those as well. This is one where you take the pieces you get and you have to make, somebody gave you the lemons, now you have to go make the lemonade with these pieces. That's what that deal looks like. And that's what a lot of these deals seem like to me. The ones that intrigue me the most, and I know you looked at that report from Jake Weinbach, who said that teams that are entertaining trade offers teams the Celtics are entertaining trade offers for Jaylen Brown from are the Hawks, Rockets, Blazers, Clippers, Spurs, Nuggets, and Pelicans. So that's 6 teams right there listed off. And that's from 3 hours ago. And obviously we had that secondary report from Shams that the Hawks and Rockets are really getting in there as well. Like, none of these teams can put up a package even as close, can give you a guy like Giannis right there. So the package has to be better.
And I agree. So honestly, and I know I say I'm not a big draft pick guy. Maybe a top draft pick this draft class might be the best thing you get for Jaylen Brown if you really think about it. Those teams who listed off, you even just said it, that there's no package that they can put together to really make it feel like it's worth Jaylen Brown. But maybe you trade for one of those top picks. Maybe you trade for the number 5 pick with the Clippers, with Los Angeles, and then you draft a point guard. I would assume it would be a point guard with the draft class. Then maybe you take Derek White, you flip Derek White for maybe Rudy Gobert, and then
I don't want Rudy Gobert.
But I'm just saying, you trade him for a big man.
That type of guy.
Yeah, you trade him for a defensive big man, like I've been wanting for my eternity of being a Celtics fan. But maybe that's the direction you go in. You draft a point guard, then you flip Derek White for a center. Now you kind of have this new identity where Tatum's the ringleader, but then you have this point guard that you're really high on. You trade Jaylen Brown for him, but you're also still trying to contend. Maybe it's like a VJ Edgecombe-like thing where you're a team that could potentially contend, but at the same time, maybe you're starting to switch your identities a little bit, because I think that's where the Sixers are at the moment, especially off this season. They just beat the Celtics in the first round, but at the same time, it's like it feels like they're shifting off of Joel Embiid and kind of turning towards Maxey and Edgecombe right now. So maybe that's the direction the Celtics need to go in.
And realistically, it's not going to happen. But if we're going to, personally, I would prefer the Celtics to get into the top 2, because I would take at this point. I would want Adrian Dabansa or I would want Darren Peterson. Those are the 2 guys I want in this draft class for Jaylen Brown. Other guys intrigue me as talents, but if giving up Jaylen Brown, those are the only 2 guys who I think could even reach that. I'm going to say could reach that statue, but I think are, far enough along where it keeps you somewhat in win. They're good enough prospects where you stay in win now mode. And that's what I'm worried about. If you deal for Brown for draft picks and spare parts, you're leaving win now mode, which is not what you should be doing in Jason Tatum's prime. It should always be win now mode. How do we improve the roster? And Giannis was a clear win now mode and a move. And now I'm worried that they're going to have to pivot. Like the Hawks, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels picks. I don't love that deal either. Like the Rockets can offer me the most entertaining deal. A deal around Sengun and Thompson would intrigue me a lot. Like that there is one like, okay, that is one where you're not getting a Giannis level guy, but you're getting 2 players back that can significantly improve holes in your roster. And I don't think it would be a straight up Brown for Thompson and Sengun. You'd have to throw in other pieces in there. And maybe, Brad, just maybe, you might have to give up Ugo Gonzalez and Scheinman in a deal like that.
Whoa.
Just put it out there.
Whoa. We draw the line.
I know you drew the line there, but just a heads up.
We can give up Brown.
Throw one of them in a deal.
We can give up Brown, but Ugo and Scheinman, we draw a line there. So I don't know if he'd be willing to do that, man. That's a line. That you're asking for a lot there. That's a Giannis Antetokounmpo type trade.
Yeah, so it's just like that. I don't understand. Like the Blazers, what are they going to offer you? Jeremiah Grant? Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson. Yeah. I saw like a 3-team trade where it was like you get Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, and someone else, like a 3-team. Oh, and Trey Murphy with the Pelicans. It's like you get 2 first-rounders and then all 3 of those guys. I'm like, I would hate that. And then Brown goes to the Blazers. I don't know if that'd be so disrespectful for Brown. Trade him to the Blazers with nothing there. Oh, he can say hi. He can say what's up to Drew Holiday.
Yeah, and then like the Clippers, we already went over them. Like the Spurs, what are they gonna offer you? Unless they're giving you Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper in
They're
that
gonna
deal.
give you no. They're gonna give you Devin Vassell.
Yeah, Vassell or Fox? No,
They
absolutely
would,
not.
I don't know if they give you. Would they give you Fox?
I don't want Darren Fox. Like,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We wouldn't want
Denver
Darren Fox.
Nuggets?
They would 100% give you Devin Vassell though.
what are the Nuggets gonna give you? Jamal Murray?
Aaron Gordon.
Don't like that deal package right there at all. I don't like it at all. Those are 2 guys who are older, and I think are
LeBron.
way worse than Jaylen Brown.
Christian Brown.
No. And then the Pelicans. This is the one I've seen a lot as well. Like Trey Murphy, I don't really. It doesn't move me the way that Giannis, and it's not even close to Giannis.
Trey
It doesn't move
Murphy
me the
feels
way
like a
the
trade.
Hawks or Rockets.
Trey Murphy feels like a trade you would make with Derek White. But then again, if you trade Derek White for Trey Murphy, it feels like you're just trading Derek White for Derek White. Kind of feels like you're just running in place with that trade. Same thing with Jalen Johnson, honestly. I'm not moved by either of these two.
Like the Rockets, are the only team that I love to deal with. So they're just in such a tough spot, and this is really. I know I said it earlier. This is the worst case scenario that the way this deal ended up with the Boston Celtics, because you missed out on Giannis, you've pissed off Jaylen Brown, and now you have to pivot. And the pivot move is, unless Brad Stevens has an ace up his sleeve, which I have no clue what that could be. The pivot move is going to be significantly worse than bringing in Giannis, and you're probably downgrading your roster because you're going to be getting young assets who aren't in their prime yet and still have to progress through their career and evolve and improve and develop. And you're getting draft picks, so then you have to hit on those draft picks to make the deal worthwhile. If the Bucks go out and draft LeBron James 1 and LeBron James 2 tonight at 10 and 13, it's the best deal of all time. But if they whiff, it's, man, they gave up Giannis for nothing, and draft picks they whiffed on, they should have taken the Jaylen Brown deal. And that's what history is going to say about this one. And I think this is really, what are you made of, Brad Stevens, right now? Because you have to find a way to make this a win still. Because right now, it looks like it's going to be a, like, chips are on the table, dealer's showing an ace right now, and you have a 2. Like, it's not looking good.
So if I were to place 3 options on the table for you, number 1 is to just run it back with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, assuming other moves are made in the offseason. Trade Jaylen Brown for pieces, or you trade Jaylen Brown tonight for a top pick. Which one is the most intriguing to you? Because that feels like your only 3 options.
Those are the only 3 options right now, and you have 3 hours until one of those options is off the board. So I'm curious how aggressive they're being and how aggressive teams are being.
I'll clarify a little bit. Clippers come with you with the number 5 overall pick.
I am not intrigued by that one at all.
Obviously, there would be other moving parts, but the headline would be Jaylen Brown from the number 5 overall pick.
Unless they're like Kawhi Leonard, the 5th pick, I'm not interested because I think Kawhi can keep you in win now mode. As much as I don't trust Kawhi, like if you were worried about Giannis injuries, holy crap, you should be sleeping with the lights on and the door open if you're worried about, like, if Kawhi Leonard comes to the Boston Celtics. And
also, he's still dealing with that tree thing.
Whatever the hell that's going on there. Like, that deal intrigues me the least. And when it comes to the best, I think intrigues a stupid word, Josh. I'm sorry. Like, the best thing the Boston Celtics can do to keep them in win now mode and give them the best possible chances of winning an NBA championship is to keep the Jays together. Because I don't believe there is another superstar out there that is an upgrade on Jaylen Brown. And if you're not going to upgrade Brown, I don't want to get rid of him. However, we went over this the first hour pretty much with Sarah and all that. I don't think he wants to be here anymore. And you can't force a guy to play with you because he can make $67 million sitting on this couch right here. So I think you have to move him at some point, and I think you lose a little bit of leverage right there. However, he is the only superstar available right now. And then what the hell is the other one? Moving Jaylen Brown for spare parts and whatnot, and Derek White, and completely reconstructing the roster. Brad Stevens would have to make some absolute wizard moves with that if they want to stay competitive in the East. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's where I stand. Like, the best thing they can do is keep the Jays together, but I have very, very low faith that come the first game of the season, Jaylen Brown will be a Boston Celtic. And honestly, I'm not feeling very confident he makes it through tonight, Josh. Like, I really am at that point.
If you were to ask me, I honestly think he will, and I'm not just saying that as a Jaylen Brown fan. I'm saying that because of my earlier point. I think they they handicap themselves to Jaylen Brown now, whether he wants to be here or not. I don't see anything worth trading him for. And because of that, because Brad Stevens isn't an idiot and won't trade him for scraps and, a bunch of paper clips, I think the Celtics are gonna have to ride it out with him. And that may include having to mend the relationship between Tatum and Brown, and not Tatum and Brown, Brad and Brown, maybe Mazzulla and Brown, if Mazzulla had a say in it as well. But I think that's the scenario that you're headed in right now, is that you're gonna stick with Tatum and Brown. I think it was boom or bust with this Giannis trade, is that you either get Giannis or you're running it back with Brown. I think we're running it back with Brown simply because there is nothing on the market of value right now close to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, and the big thing with the Giannis deal was that the Bucks wanted to get it done before the NBA draft so they could make those picks. Right now, unless tonight it happens, this might be an ugly couple of weeks, Josh, because NBA free agency doesn't start till it's going to be an ugly week. NBA free agency starts next week. The Celtics would have no reason to move him before free agency officially begins. And it could be a rough week, Josh, if it doesn't happen tonight. So that's where we're going to end it today, Josh. The Giannis sweepstakes are over at least. We can move on somewhat because now we have to figure out what the hell we were going to do with Jaylen Brown or what the Boston Celtics are going to do with Jaylen Brown. This was episode 54 of the Duckboat Dispatch. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at the Duckboat Dispatch. Watch the video, like it, comment, subscribe. Appreciate that. Go to our Instagram, TikTok, or social medias. You can follow us there as well at the Duckboat Dispatch. Like, comment, share. Please don't hate on my mother in the comments. That'd be really cool. I am aware that the Jaylen Brown take from my mom in the comments was crazy and objectively wrong. But that's Ma. I love her. And she wants to believe what she wants to believe. So you can disagree with her, but disagree respectfully, please. But be a friend, share with a friend, tell a friend. Sharing is caring. We appreciate all that. If you want just the audio version, we post those on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. If you want to listen in the car, wherever you're going, finding Spotify can be a pain for some reason. So if you go to the Instagram, Sarah set up a wonderful link tree that you can find all of your Duckboat Dispatch content there. We'll be back next week. Hell, we could be back in a couple hours if Jaylen Brown gets traded during the draft tonight, Josh. It really is that type of time right now, which makes it very exciting because there's not much else going on in the Boston sports world. We are just trying to get to Patriot training camp. The Red Sox suck in new ways every single night, which we're not talking about whatsoever, Josh. And in the Bruins side, Patrice Bergeron's going to be a hockey Hall of Famer, and his jersey's getting retired on the rafters. So that's really, really cool. But it's also the Boston Bruins right now. Who the hell cares? So that'll do it. The Greek Freak not going to be coming to Boston. Jaylen Brown might freak out. Who knows? But if he does, we'll have you covered. So make sure you stay locked in on all of your Duckboat Dispatch content. Thank you for watching.